I'm 86 years old, and for 15 of those years, I lived in the exact same house, ate at the exact same oak table, and slept in the exact same bed with my wife, as a complete stranger. I'm going to tell you something that your expensive marriage counselors, your golfing buddies, and those modern therapists will never tell you. Why? Because the truth completely shatters a man's ego, and we men, we would rather bleed out in silence than admit our pride is the very thing burning our homes to the ground. I remember the exact physical weight of it, the heavy, suffocating silence in our living room every single evening, just the flickering, meaningless hum of the late-night news filling the dead space between our two leather armchairs. I remember watching her from across the room, looking at her hands that used to eagerly reach for mine, now just nervously folding and refolding the edge of a magazine. My chest would tighten. The air felt thick, like breathing underwater. We were two ghosts haunting our own damn lives, both of us terrified to speak, terrified to shatter the fragile quiet we used as a shield. Don't scroll away. Stop what you are doing and listen to me, because what I'm about to share with you, the single agonizingly simple thing we finally did, is the only reason she didn't walk out that door forever. It is the only reason I didn't die as a lonely, miserable old man. Listen closely. Let me take you back, not to the beginning when we were foolish and fiercely in love, but to the middle, the dangerous, quiet middle, the 1980s. I was in my 40s, right where many of you are standing today. I was building a career, doing exactly what a real man is supposed to do, right? I was making money, but I was bankrupting my home. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't wake up one Tuesday and deliberately decide to become a stranger to the woman who bore your children. It's a slow bleed, a death by 1,000 unsaid words. I remember coming home on a Friday evening, 1988, I think, the faint smell of cut grass and car exhaust in the air. I pulled into the driveway, turned off the ignition, and I just sat there for 10, sometimes 20 minutes, gripping the steering wheel, just listening to the engine tick as it cooled down. I convinced myself I was just decompressing from a hard day. But the truth, the bitter, ugly truth that makes my stomach turn even now, I was dreading walking through that front door, because inside that door was her, and I didn't know how to talk to her anymore. I didn't know how to bridge the massive gap between my stress and her exhaustion. So I chose the coward's way out. I chose silence. I'd walk in, a stiff nod, "How was your day?" that didn't expect an answer. We would sit at that damn oak table. I can still hear the agonizing sound of it. Clink, clink, silverware scraping against porcelain. I remember looking up from my plate once, just once, and catching her staring at me. Her eyes, God, her eyes were so incredibly sad. They were begging me, screaming at me to say something real, to ask her how she felt, to tell her I was scared, or tired, or lonely. But my pride, my fragile, pathetic male ego, clamped my jaw shut. I swallowed my words with my cold coffee. It tasted like ash, but I drank it anyway. I told myself, I put food on this table. I paid for this house. That should be enough. But it's never enough, is it? We build these brick fortresses around our hearts, thinking it makes us strong. We think stoicism is a virtue. It's not. It's a disease. I remember the nights getting into bed, the careful, deliberate movements to ensure we didn't accidentally brush against each other, The vast, freezing expanse of 6 inches of cotton sheets between us. I would lie there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to her shallow breathing. I knew she was awake. She knew I was awake. I swear to you, my hand physically ached to cross that boundary, to just touch her shoulder, but my arm felt like it was made of solid lead. I thought, if I reach out now, I have to admit I'm failing. So I rolled over. I turned my back to the woman I promised to love, night after night, year after year. Fast forward 15 years. The kids grew up, packed their bags, and moved out to build their own lives. The chaotic noise of teenagers, the slamming doors, the arguments over homework, it all just vanished. Suddenly, the big house we worked so damn hard to pay off felt like a museum, a cold, echoing museum. And there we were, just the two of us, stripped of our convenient roles as dad and mom. We were left staring at each other across the wreckage of our neglect. The modern world makes it even easier to hide, doesn't it? We traded the awkward silence of the dinner table for the cold, glowing screens of our devices. I remember sitting in my recliner one night, the television murmuring some pointless late-night show. My phone buzzed, a text message from my wife, who was sitting exactly 20 feet away from me in the kitchen. Did you lock the back door? 20 feet. And we couldn't even use our own voices. I typed back, yes, sent. I watched her from the corner of my eye, look at her phone, nod slightly, and go back to wiping the immaculate granite counter. The sheer absurdity of it, the tragic, pathetic comedy of our existence. We had developed our own separate orbits under the same roof. She would go up to bed at 9 p.m. sharp. I would deliberately, intentionally stay downstairs until midnight. I would watch history documentaries I didn't care a damn about. I memorized the tactical failures of World War II battles just so I wouldn't have to lie awake next to her in the dark. Because the dark strips away the distractions. The dark forces you to face the suffocating void. One evening, I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. I looked old, the deep lines, the tired eyes. I looked toward the porch where she was sitting alone, wrapped in a sweater, staring blankly at the empty driveway. And a thought hit me like a physical punch to the gut. My God, I am 60 years old. I have to live with this absolute stranger for another 20, maybe 30 years. The panic was paralyzing. I realized then that the only thing worse than dying completely alone is dying of loneliness while lying right next to the person you married. That is a special kind of hell, gentlemen. And the worst part? We build the walls of that hell ourselves, brick by stubborn, prideful brick. Listen to me, and listen good. Why do we do it? Why do smart, capable men let their lives burn down to the ashes while they just sit there and watch? I'll tell you why. It's a 3-letter word that has destroyed more marriages than infidelity, bankruptcy, or disease combined. EGO. Ego. We are raised to be conquerors, aren't we? Fixers, providers. Give a man a broken carburetor and he'll spend 10 hours in the garage figuring it out. Put him in a boardroom with ruthless competitors and he'll fight like a gladiator to protect his bottom line. But put that same man in a living room with a woman he swore to protect and ask him to say 3 simple words, I am lonely, or I am sorry, or I need you. And suddenly, he's a terrified little boy. He shrinks, he deflects, he gets angry, because anger is the accepted currency of male emotion. Vulnerability, that feels like weakness. It feels like surrender. So what do? We run. Oh, we don't pack a bag and leave. That would be too honest. We run without leaving the house. We hide behind the Sunday football games. We hide at the bottom of a Scotch glass. We hide on the back nine of the golf course, complaining about our nagging wives to other cowardly men who are doing the exact same thing. We convince ourselves that we are holding our ground. We think this silent treatment, this emotional wall, is a sign of stoic strength. Bullshit. It's cowardice. Pure, unadulterated cowardice. It takes absolutely zero courage to stay silent. It takes zero strength to ignore the person hurting right in front of you. You sit there day after day, waiting for her to make the first move, waiting for her to apologize for a fight you both started 10 years ago. You keep score like a damn accountant. But let me tell you a brutal truth from an old man who almost lost it all. In the game of marital pride, the one who wins the silent treatment gets the grand prize, dying alone. Your pride will not hold your hand when you are hooked up to an oxygen machine. Your ego will not attend your funeral. Your stubbornness will not comfort you when the house is entirely, permanently empty. We think we have time. We think one day we'll fix it. But time is the great thief, and it doesn't wait for your ego to shrink. So what did we do? How did we survive that freezing 15-year winter? It wasn't a luxury cruise to the Bahamas. We didn't hire a $200 an hour therapist to hold our hands. It was infinitely harder than that. It was a cold Tuesday morning in November, raining heavily. I walked into the kitchen. She was standing by the sink, staring out the window, just like she had 1,000 mornings before. I poured 2 cups of black coffee, and for the first time in a decade and a half, I didn't grab the newspaper to hide behind. I slid 1 mug across the counter to her. I waited for her to turn around. I looked into those tired, beautiful eyes that I had ignored for so long. My hands were shaking, but I finally took my massive, useless male ego and I crushed it into dust. I looked at her and simply said, "I am so incredibly sorry. I miss my wife, and I am terrified of living the rest of my life without you." She didn't yell. She didn't throw the scalding coffee in my face, though I deserved it. She just broke. 15 years of solid ice, melted in seconds by one moment of absolute naked honesty. She reached out crying, and her shaking hand took mine. We stood in that kitchen and wept like children. If you are a man watching this, standing on the edge of that same silent abyss, here's your playbook. 3 steps. Step 1. Burn the damn scorecard. Stop keeping track of who hurt who last, who forgot what anniversary, or who started the fight in 2015. Grudges are the heaviest baggage you can carry to your grave. Drop them. Step 2. Cross the physical divide. Tonight. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Walk across the living room, sit down next to her on that sofa, and just put your hand on hers. Break the physical barrier first. You will be shocked at how much a single touch can say when your words have failed you for years. Step 3. Tell her you're scared. Tell her you miss her. Strip off the armor. It will feel unnatural. It will feel like you are standing buck naked in a blizzard. But I promise you, gentlemen, it is the only way back inside the warmth of your own home. Do not wait until you are 86. Do not wait until there is an empty chair at that oak table and a silence in the house that you can never, ever break. True freedom at the end of your life isn't found in your bank account. It's found in holding the hand of the woman you love as the sun goes down. Go to her now. Make it count.